Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 195 of Verbal Graffiti with your host, Brian Glass, a.k.a. the B-Man, the People's Degenerate. And joining us once more is Willow, the family dog, Bijan, 7.8 pounds. B-Man, how much do you weigh? 164, maybe 166 with all the Christmas chocolates I've been consuming. Speaking of weight, and this is going to be a terrible transition, Chris Williamson. Do you know who he is? If you don't, Chris Williamson is a podcaster. He has a wellness lifestyle podcast. He's internet famous. He's a gym bro. A lot of his guests are scientists, professors, authors, experts, even though he himself, Chris Williamson, will tell you he's not an expert. But he has these people on, and they have a stimulating conversation. And Chris Williamson is from one of the Great Britain islands, I think. I don't know all the islands because I'm not cultured, but he's over there. So he has that accent, that British accent. So he seems more intelligent than he really is. And he has a way with words, a vocabulary, $64,000 words. So he's captivating. He's very fun to listen to. And he has these interesting conversations. But besides all that, though, he's a Chad. He's a very attractive guy. Square jaw, ripped, tall, six-pack, the veins on the arm, perfect hair. He got a bit of a scrub, no gray at all, even though he's in his mid-30s. Just know this. When Chris Williamson was in his 20s, he was on Love Island. And he was also on the cover of romance novels. So that's the kind of Chad we're talking about. I'll put a photo of him up here. I think we've talked about him a couple times before. With all that, describing who he is, if you didn't know, Chris Williamson, what I was thinking about earlier today is like getting dicked down as a babe by Chris Williamson's dick must be a miserable experience. Now, you don't think it would. Certainly, I never really thought about this before today. And that's why I described who Chris Williamson is. Somewhat of an intellectual, very intelligent, a Chad. He has everything you'd want. He's wealthy. He's a bit famous. He's everything a Scarlet would want in a Chad. Right? And you think, well, when you get dicked down by Chris Williamson, that it would be an enjoyable experience. And when you'd want to double dip with Chris Williamson. But the more, I know nothing about Chris Williamson. I've never spoken to a babe who's been dicked down by Chris Williamson. So I have no insider knowledge. This is all, I'm projecting. This is a hypothetical in my head that I'm putting out onto the internet. I'm not trying to slander Chris Williamson's name. If I was a babe, I probably would want to get dicked down by Chris Williamson, even though it would probably be, I shouldn't say miserable experience. It would just be, you'd leave there wanting more. Or you'd leave there a little dumbfounded, right? Because he's a rich guy. So Chris Williamson would probably pay for the Uber to send you home. When you're in the Uber ride home, after getting dicked down, piped by Chris Williamson's pipe, you'd be a bit befuddled. You'd be like, wait, like that guy's everything. He's the chattiest of all the Chads. He's famous, great body, physically fit. Like I should be out of breath right now. My vagina should be glowing, glistening. I should be on the group chat saying, I fucked, Chris Williamson dicked me down. I got grade A dick. It was the best dick of my life. But here I am in an Uber on my way back to my flat because we're in Great Britain. And I just, I'm thinking about calling my fuck buddy because I didn't get off. Or maybe I did, but it wasn't fireworks. It was tremors. It was aftershocks. Well, which is not, when you see on the surface Chris Williamson, you think he'd be a firework gasm giver because he's got everything. But the problem that I think that somebody like Chris Williamson may have in the sack when he's dicking down some strange pussy, some sneeze, is that he's two in his head because his podcast. He's one of these like type A. I'm going to try to find the perfect way to live life. So I'm going to look at all the data, all the analysis. And my day is structured. I go to the gym at 6:30. I have my protein. I have my fish. Then I have a meeting. Then I have a production team meeting. And then I meet for lunch with a friend. Afterwards, I do a podcast and we do a post podcast with the editing team. He's like one of these guys. Multi-millionaire, super successful, but his life is so organized and structured. And when he goes to the gym, like he's not just, I'll just do this set and then do a leg press and maybe a squat. Like, no, it's very regiment. It's very routine, which is admirable. But sometimes in the sack, if you're that regimented, if you're that in your head about living life perfectly, oddly enough, that could get in the way of having a fun time while fucking or getting fucked, whichever party you are. And I just imagine, because Chris Williamson, he has all these guests on his podcast who are like, I figured, for example, he'll have a guy on or a gal who's a professor, and they'll talk about sleeping and the book she wrote. And he's one of these guys he'll wear like one of those strips across his chest or on his wrist that will tell him how he's sleeping. So he'll try to maximize his REM sleep, and he'll try to maximize like protein. He just tries to maximize every minute of the day, even when he's unconscious, when he's sleeping. So how can a person like that be in bed with you, a babe, and just have fun? Because instead of just like slapping you across the face and bitch, take that dick. He's in his head, okay, well, if I'm eating you out, I gotta this way, that way. I did this 3-day retreat in the desert in Nevada. So we learned this trick, and I'm going to try it, and I'm going to try to master it on you. And then, afterwards, instead of cuddling and spooning when you're all sweaty and nasty and you had that stinky smell in each other, but you love it because you just made love, like he's going straight, Chris Williamson, that is, he's probably going straight to his notebook and writing meticulous notes about the lovemaking. And then the next morning, instead of going and getting coffee with him or some OJ and a bagel, like he's going through the notes and trying to determine what could he do better next time to make the lovemaking more efficient, more engaging, more pleasurable to you the next time. So he's so in his head that sometimes like a bitch just gotta be like, just eat me out. Just eat me out. I don't care about some routine or what some voodoo doctor told you this is the key to the perfect orgasm. Like sometimes you just need your ass slapped. Sometimes you just need a person who just laughs during the middle of it. And then, what are you laughing at? I go, I'm just thinking about some cartoon I read on Reddit. Or just, Chris Williamson's lovemaking is not fun. Now, he might perfect the dicking down. But there's just no way I could imagine it being fun while you're engaging with it. Because when you're trying to maximize every thrust, every stroke, every lick, every movement, yeah. It's like, okay, but, spit in my mouth. Do something a little weird, something you've never done before. Tell me you love me. Huh? All right, all this, I'm going to go this, stroke your lip this way. So just tell me you love me. Lie to me. Make me feel good. All right, boost my self-esteem. I just spoke for 10 minutes about Chris Williamson's dicking down abilities, and I don't know Chris Williamson. I don't know anyone who's been dicked down by him. I have no desire to get dicked down by Chris Williamson. Very odd that I did a 10-minute opening, therefore, on Chris Williamson and his dicking down. I don't even want to say abilities, because I'm sure he has the ability to do so, just how he does his dicking down. All right, enough with that. Let's move on. All right, this one comes from the subreddit, Edging Talk. We are not prostitutes. My DMs have been exploding for hours now after my last post. Almost every single one is asking me for a favor, asking me to edge them, to get them off, without even asking me if I want to do it, without asking me if I'm into it, without ever asking me if they can offer me pleasure in return. ... Newsflash. I was not put on this earth to bring your fantasies to life! ! It's very frustrating and dehumanizing. I'm on Reddit to escape the horrors of reality, and all you horny loser gooners are ruining my peace. Enough already. I am not a prostitute. I'm not making anyone pay to play, but shit, maybe I should. I'm here to edge my pussy in peace. I don't give a shit, piss, or fuck if you come. If you message me on some selfish foolishness, I'm just gonna block y'all at this point. I'm disappointed, ruining my edging session, SMFH, which I believe stands for shaking my fucking head. Women of Edge together, chime in. I know it's not just me. What's the solution? Be mean? ? A little background, if you're confused, and you probably are, is before this post, she posted, her previous post noted that she found an edger on Reddit who was gooning, and they DM'd each other, and they gooned together over the internet. So therefore, when she admitted to that, the gooners among us without the sniz have been reaching out in her DMs to goon together. Now, I'm happy to report that I am not one of those loser gooners begging to goon with the assistance of her to goon. Now, I'm a gooner, but I am not a loser gooner. I did not reach out to her or any other Redditors or any strangers on the internet that I don't know who they really are or what they look like. I've never done that in my life. I've never reached out to an avatar via the internet and asked them to top me off via the internet. I am very happy that I can make that claim full-heartedly. That is not me. So I am not one of these loser gooners who have slid into her DMs asking for assistance. And honestly, as horny as I get, and as deep into the goon session that I sometimes delve into, I respect the goonettes among us who edge too much so to ask them to use their sniz to get my gasm. I have too much respect for the goonette who possesses a sniz to slide into her DMs. Now, I will admit that sometimes when I'm gooning or just edging or even just like a normal masturbation quickie, sometimes I'll get too horny and I'll message a babe that I know. Maybe a babe I've not been intimate with as of yet, and ask her, hey, you want to come top me off? But again, that's a babe I know. And again, as we've clarified here at Verbal Graffiti, whatever I say or message when Mr. Perfect is erect is not held against me. Right? You can't use that in a court of law because my mind is not in the right state of mind when Mr. Perfect is erect. So yeah, and I'm not happy that I've done that and that I do that. Sometimes, maybe a friend, maybe a lady I fancy that I know, 3 a.m., I'll send a random message, hey, want to come top me off? Want to come top the B-Man's Mr. Perfect off? I've done that, and I'll probably continue to do so, but I've never. A stranger on Reddit? Never. I'm not that type of gooner. I'm a gooner with integrity. And I'm proud of that. I'm not asking for you to be proud of that, but I'm proud of that fact about me. As to your question, I just felt like I had to do a quick 5 to 10 minutes just patting myself, giving a tip of my penis to myself, just knowing, hey, this ain't me. Like I'm a perv, I'm a weirdo, but I ain't no loser gooner. I'm just a gooner. Hey, I don't want to be like I'm going to blame you, but I see the part of the post where you say, hey, you're trying to get away from life by going to Reddit to goon. That's where you find your peace. Reddit or any social media or any internet for that matter is not peaceful. Like you don't go to the internet to find peace of mind. That is where the chaos is taking place. Like go read a book. Go read an erotic novel if you want some peace and quiet as you goon with your sniz. Like don't go to the internet. Like if you go to the internet and then you start DMing other gooners and you think that's going to turn out like all above board without law enforcement needing to get involved, like grow up. You're a goonette. You should know better. Okay, I'm not blaming you, but you should know better as a goonette that possesses her own sniz. And this really does, the predicament this babe is in, this goonette, it really does show us the power of the sniz. Because this is something I've never even thought of doing. Whenever I've been gooning or just, regular edging, whatever, a half hour, 45 minutes, I'm edging. Let me tell a story. Let me back. Enough about the B-Man and what I'm doing with Mr. Perfect. Let me give you an example. A few weeks ago, I was listening to a podcast with a smut, a lady who does smut on the internet for money, for internet coins. But she was talking about pre-sex work, being an internet whore, where before she got into the adult entertainment game, like she would masturbate, and then when she got so horny, like she would go on Tinder and find a guy to come dick her down and give her the gasm, like while she was masturbating. She would do all this. That is the power of the sniz. And that is something I cannot do. Like, yeah, I've gotten horny. I've been stroking myself. I've been trying to give myself hawking a dick loogie on myself. Or not on myself, but I've been stroking myself, wanking off. I've gone to a dating app site and started swiping on some names, but never in my wildest dreams have I ever thought that, wow, maybe these babes will respond right away and come over and top me off, because I don't have a sniz. Right? I have a penis, not a vagina. But the fact that I've never even thought about this, that this was even a possibility, because I know it's not, as a man, a gooner, not a goonette. Like this lady, who's now in the smut game, but that's real power. The fact that you can masturbate, get horny, and just go on the internet, they swipe a few times, and you'll have a guy come over your house to have sex with you, just because you have a sniz. Like that is, that's more impressive than the Manhattan Project, right? More the atomic bomb. Like that right there impresses me more. And I never even thought that was even I'm jealous. I'm not jealous. Like I don't want I don't want to have a sniz like on me, like a part of me. But man, the fact that you can just go on the internet and any John who is below a 6 will come over and bend the knee to you. It's a, hey, I'm diddling myself. Come over. Okay. Give me the address. You don't even have to give him your name. Right? He's like, oh, go pick up a Chipotle burrito, a bowl on the way over here for me. And he'll pay for it. That's crazy. That's power. That's magical. But anyway, yeah, I guess I can't blame you because you have a sniz. You're a goonette with a sniz. You have that power when you're fiddling yourself. You just go on Reddit and then find someone to mutually masturbate with, via the screen. But again, don't publicize what you're doing. Because again, if you publicize on the internet that you mutually masturbate with gooners, yeah, your DMs are going to be flooded. And people aren't going to treat you as humane as a respectful gooner like myself would. But again, not all of us are not losers. So again, do what you're doing. Just keep it on the DL. Let's go look at some photos. I'm not happy to admit this, although I am a bit of a softie, so maybe it shouldn't bother me as much that I am going to admit this. Call the B-Man Mr. Softie, but I am when dogs sleep with me, I allow them to bully me. I am a pushover. I allow them to sleep where they want, and then my sleep is dictated by where the dog decides her final resting place on the mattress. Like tonight, after this episode, and when I'm finished editing it, I sleep in the same room that I record this episode. So I have a mattress. I'll put it down. Like it's up against the wall right now, and Willow is sleeping with me tonight. And it's a queen size bed, but she will get right next to me. So I'll have about this much space. So I'll have to sleep in an awkward position because I usually sleep in the fetal position. But because of her, she might be along my belly. So I have to be a little bit more upright than I usually am. And I won't be able to toss and turn because she'll be asleep. So I won't want to turn and have to wake her up because I'm a big softie, Mr. Softie. So... but she dictates the sleeping when we sleep together. And last week I was watching Maui, who's also been on Verbal Graffiti, my brother's golden retriever. Now he's much larger, so I will push him around a little bit, like playfully in the bed as I'm trying to sleep. But once he finds his position, it's donezo. There was a night we were sleeping together where we had 2 nights we were sleeping there. The first night was wonderful. Like I had my side of the bed, and then he was spread out on the other side of the bed, and he put his head on the pillow. So it was almost as though we were spooning each other, like real adults, and it was a very pleasant sleep. But the next night, he came right up to the 2 pillows and laid across the both of them. And I need a pillow to sleep. So I have 2 pillows, but I had probably about a third of one pillow to put my head on, and then the rest of my body was right next to my closet door, and I was pinned up against that the entire night. It took me probably 2 hours to fall asleep, but again, because I'm a pushover, right? I don't like conflict. Mr. Softie, you can have your way, so we don't have to, get into it. So I allowed Maui to sleep peacefully while I had the space of a Lego to sleep on. It's embarrassing. It's not embarrassing because I pride myself as an alpha male. But when I'm sleeping with a dog, or I'm allowing a dog to sleep, on the bed with me, I become Mr. Softie, and I allow them to dictate the terms, the lines of the lines on the bed of where I get and where the dog gets. The dog decides. So when I sleep with the dog, I'm beta. All right, moving forward. As you can see, Willow, she decides, I want to be on your lap for these episodes. She's going to be in my lap because I'm Mr. Softie. She's getting a little anxious, so we're gonna try to go through this next one quickly because she's getting a little. She's starting to make some noise, like she wants to go outside. All right, This comes from the subreddit Life Advice. I got some of that for you. I just turned 37. Here's what I wish I had learned 10 years ago. Believe in yourself, but show it through action. Confidence means nothing if it never leaves your head. Number 2, good sleep fixes more things than motivation ever will. 3, it's better to be alone than surrounded by people who quietly pull you down, unless it's in the bed, that is. 4, start investing as early as you can. Time really is the best multiplier. I just learned about compound interest only a couple years ago. All right. Number 5, your 20s, even your early 30s, are for taking risks. Most mistakes aren't fatal, but regret often is. Number 6, learn to put yourself out there. Otherwise, nobody knows you exist, even if you're amazing at something. Just don't expose your penis. Number 7, quitting something no longer fits is a win, not a failure. Number 8, choose a partner you see a future with, not just chemistry for the moment. 9, older people don't automatically earn respect. It has to go both ways. No, it doesn't. Number 10, this is your path and your story. You decide how it's written. Well, that's a stupid list. Don't listen to anything this dumb said, all right? This cheese doodle. And I see this a lot online. On the internet, you'll be doom scrolling and you'll see a list like this. 10 things I wish I had known when I was 20 years old or when I was 10 years earlier. Well, I did such a thing. That guy has 10 things you should do in life when you were 10 years earlier. So do I. Learn how to speak, B-Man. I wrote Life Lessons 10. I'm going to read them off to you because I can't remember 10 bullet points in a row. B-Man, I cannot do that. All right, number 1. First life lesson to learn if you're of a more impressionable age, younger. Don't get a job right out of college. Those few months will be more fun than you'll ever have the rest of your life. I believe that full-heartedly. I have friends who right after college, they got a job right away, like a real career, and you never get any more time off. 2, 3, 4 weeks. But take those first few months and get fucked up, drunk, get some sniz, go do a little bit of traveling. I always felt bad for the Johns I knew who got jobs right out of college. Number 2, life lesson, that is. Fuck the fatties, but don't settle for the fatty. I wish I had known this back then. I was so afraid of fucking the uglies, the Miss Potato Heads, the slugs, the cheese doodles. Fuck the fatties. Fuck the uglies. Just don't make a habit out of it. All right. Now, if you've been gooning alone the entire semester, and a fatty flings her hair at you, plays with her hair a little bit, fuck her. All right, tell your friends, have a good story, laugh about it. Just don't get used to fucking the fatties and the uglies. But it's better to fuck an ugly or a fatty than to not fuck at all. Wisdom in that lesson. Number 3, learn what compound interest is and invest as much as you can. Our gentleman poster, he was correct. Compound interest, Roth IRA, 401k, all those Ks, all those S&P 500, real estate. Invest as much as you can. I know rent is high, so you probably can't. But yeah, just even if it's $50 a month, put away as much as you can because compound interest is real. And you're probably not smart enough to start a startup and become a millionaire. So interest is the way. Compound interest, that is. Rule number 4, learn a price per use. I did not know what this was until my 30s, but price per use is when you're buying something, especially if it's somewhat expensive, whatever expensive for you is. Just think about how much use are you going to get out of that item? Like how many times are you going to use it? For example, I own one pair of jeans. I think they were, I don't know, maybe like $250, maybe $275. I bought them, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. I wear them 6 months out of the year every day. I own one pair of jeans. So like price per use, when you hear that, wow, $250 for a pair of jeans, that's a lot. But when you do the math, like price per every time I wear them, it probably comes out as less than just buying, a $35 pair of Levi's or whatever. So just everything you buy, just like do the math, price per use. All right. I probably didn't have to explain that. You probably know what price per use is. Apologies for that. All right, number 5. This is a profound one. Very important. Life lesson number 5. Find a local dive bar wherever you live. Be recognized there, but don't be a regular. There is a distinction. You want to know the bartenders. You want to know the regulars. But there's every dive bar. There's a line. There's like the continental shelf. Like you go up, and if you're on the other side, you're a regular, and there's no going back to real society. You're going to get the red nose, the receding hairline, all the inside jokes, and it seems cool when you're 21. When you're 41, I'm thankful I'm not a regular, right? But you want to be recognized at that bar. You want to know the staff. You want to maybe get a free drink every once in a while. So there's be careful, tread carefully. Number 6, life lesson: don't use condoms. I don't need to say anything more. Don't use condoms. Life is too short. Number 7, colleagues are not your friends. Don't go to work events any more than you have to network and get ahead. But you'll find this out if you're younger. If you're in your early 20s and you're starting out your career, you'll be friends with coworkers, but then you'll start a new job, and all your friends from your last job, they'll go away. You'll text, you'll email, but within a year, you'll never talk to them ever again. 8, drink liquor, not beer. You'll look back at the good times had, not the crippling hangover the next morning, day, evening, and following days. And I say drink liquor because beer, IPAs, it's bloaty. You'll gain a lot of weight. Therefore, liquor, although harder, a bit more dangerous. It just seems like it's easier, maybe not on the stomach, but on all the other body parts, and gaining weight. Seems like liquor might be the, I don't know, whatever. What the fuck am I to tell you how to live? Drink whatever it is you want to drink. Beer, liquor, wine, spirits, high C, Echo Cooler. Drink whatever you want. All right, number 9. Now, this comes from a guy's perspective who likes the babes. So if you're a babe or you're a gay, like I don't know, I can't give you advice, relationship advice. Avoid babes that love horses or have reptiles as pets. Avoid Disney adults, babes who are active on social media and use face filters, babes who don't swallow, and babes that take your peace away. Just, again, similar to the fatties. You can fuck them, but don't get into a relationship with them, especially horse ladies. Because a lady who loves a horse will always love the horses more than they love you. And if a lady has a snake or has reptiles in the rooms as a pet, like, you can't fall asleep. You can't fall asleep. It could be the hottest of babes, but you can't fall asleep next to her when she has a snake pet in the room. Can't live that way. And lastly, number 10, life lesson number 10, people in your life care about you, but they don't give a fuck. Let me say that one more. I was focusing a little bit more on Willow and her whining. Okay, apology. Last life lesson. People in your life care about you, but they don't give a fuck about you and hardly think about you. So live your life. Again, think about your family and your friends. How often do you really think about them? You want their lives to go well. You want them to peace and prosper and all that jazz, promotions and happy family and health and all that. But it's a fleeting thought. Nobody gives a fuck about anybody but themselves, especially in the year 2025. That's why society's collapsing. So just do whatever it is you want to do, and within reason. Right? There are a lot of times I want to, I don't know, curse out a family member or tell them they're stupid. Tell them I don't believe what they believe. But again, I just keep it to myself. Keep it moving. Similar to when a dog is in bed with me. I'm not gonna chastise a dog because it's taking my pillow space. Same thing with a family member or friend. If they say something stupid, what? I've been saying stupid shit for the last 40 minutes on the internet forever. So who am I to call someone else out that I love for what they're saying? At least they're doing it in front of my friends and not for the internet to mock me for. So yeah, those are the life lessons. Fuck the fatties. Drink, but not too much. Be recognized, but not irregular. Your colleagues are not your friends. Don't disclose private information to them. Yeah, and love your dogs. Go suck a fat one.